Hello, good morning. It's a nice bright morning here in France, calling you here today. Buenos dias para todos. I hope everybody is doing well today and you are staying safe and healthy inside during the COVID-19 crisis. So, I wanted to talk to you today about something that is one of my favorite topics to talk about with my students, with other people, and that's the topic about food and about cooking together, eating out, cooking together. So I just want to first have you come in and see if you Hello, everybody. I would like to apologize about the connection problem. As you know, we are in the middle of the COVID-19 crisis, and everybody in the world is on their computer. So, because of that, starting always on Fridays here at the apartment, we lose internet sometimes. So, I've connected the Ethernet and promised that next time it will be a little bit more smoother. So, again, let's continue. Let's not let technical difficulties make us angry or sad. So, let's start again. So, I see that there are some people here in the class. If you are here, you can say good morning, maybe say where you're from, would be something that could be nice and helpful. So please, if you're here, say good morning, say where you're calling from. We have a bit of a way to go for our conversation. So let's see. I had Virginia saying good morning earlier. I have Pilar saying good morning from Spain. Good to see you. Okay, all right. So today we're going to talk about eating out and cooking at home. So let's connect here the presentation. So the presentation is coming in. There it is. And yeah, eating out and cooking at home. So again, if you're vegan, I apologize for, or vegetarian, I apologize for putting shrimp and mussels. That's the name of the sea creatures on the picture, shrimp and mussels on the front. But I figured since I am targeting a Spanish market today, italki is broadcasting to Spain, this is an appropriate meal to broadcast to you. So again, uh, just to start, we have a phrase we say in English called food for thought. So says a food for thought means it's something maybe philosophical, something that you know, a philosophical message that helps you think about something. So the first thing is conversation is the enemy of good wine and food. So the question is, do you agree with this quote? Do you agree that good conversation is the enemy? Well, conversation is the enemy of good wine and food. What does this mean? This message. For those of you who are watching, having lunch, and watching an English lesson, welcome. I don't know how many there are, but do you agree with this quote? Conversation is the enemy of good wine and food. Hmm. If you are tuned in to the live chat, please leave a comment just to say that you're here with us today. Hmm? Is anybody here today with us watching the class? Yeah, yeah. I'm yeah, Pilar sends a message. Most people are watching live from the italki page. Yeah, I'm on both pages. I'm on YouTube and on the italki page. And yeah, so if anyone is watching, feel free to comment when I ask questions. Feel free to practice your English with the questions, and feel free to express your opinion. The last class was a wonderful class. I had the chance to watch it with Yemi, which was about giving opinions. So you can agree and disagree with anything that we talk about. You don't have to be afraid to express your opinion. Food is a good thing. It's something we all agree we like. But let's talk about this. Is eating with others very important for you? Do you prefer to eat alone? How often do you cook? How often do you eat out for business, for pleasure? Let's start with maybe the first question here. Do you prefer to eat with others? Do you prefer to eat alone? Now, I know that in my experiences traveling in Spain, it's maybe my favorite country to travel to right now. Uh, I know that it's like one of my countries. I come from, Brazil, and in Brazil, people eat together and they go out and eat together and make friends, make connections. So I know that's very important for people in Spain. But I want to know your personal experiences. Do you prefer to eat alone? Is eating with others very important for you? Do you eat out for business often before the crisis? Did you take clients to lunch? Did you take them to dinner? Did you always eat just for pleasure? And if you want me to simplify the question, I can gladly simplify the question for you, make it. Okay, so I have a comment here from Pilar on YouTube that eating with my family is important for me, but I hate that others see me eat because it bothers me. Okay, interesting. Okay, that's it. These are the kind of answers I want to hear today. Is just you expressing your opinion. Um, yeah, it's true. A lot of people do like to eat in private. I know that my grandmother, she liked to eat in private. She did not like eating in front of others. But yeah, eating with family, I think, is important for everybody who has a good relationship with their family. Um, any other comments? Do you eat out for business? Do you eat out for pleasure? Do you cook more than you eat out? When we eat out, it means we go out. We go out to eat. Again, this is a verb, to eat out. We can also say, I go out to eat. Again, using two verbs in that situation. So, yeah. Does anyone eat out for business, for pleasure? Hmm. If you're just logging in during lunchtime, then we are talking about eating out and cooking. So I will wait for your comments to come in. For now, it's okay. Don't worry, but I would love to see your comments on the chat. Let's talk about eating out. Why do you think that business lunches are so popular? That's the first question. So, again, before we go to some interesting statistics, interesting information, can you tell me why do you think business lunches are so popular? Well, when I say so popular, I'm saying why do you think that they are very popular, right? Yeah, it's another way of saying very popular. Mhm. So, let's see here. Just getting a little bit of, yeah, okay. So again, I'm getting a few comments here that I want to read. So again, we have people from Alicante and from Almeria, and let's see. Let's see. So let's see. Is it better to have good wine and food with a good conversation? That's from the class last time, yeah. So again, the idea of conversation is that good wine and conversation, uh, they go together, but good wine and good food can make you stop a conversation because it's so good. So again, just continuing the information from the chat. It says here from Virginia, and it says, I prefer to eat with people in a restaurant, but at home I don't care. And I have a comment here from Sean that says, let's see here, I like to share with friends. Okay. And Ruben saying, I prefer to eat with friends because it is more funny. Than eating. Remember the gerund, eating alone, right? I have a comment here from Vanessa about why business lunches are popular. Again, people are relaxed at business lunches because they're more comfortable about business topics. Also, uh, uh, people eating are eating. Trying to see what that it says. People eating are closer than in the office. Well, you could say, yeah, it's better to eat out than to eat at the office. Yeah. And I have a comment here from Zlatina that says, I am certain that business lunches improve workmate relationship. So we can also say coworkers. Coworkers is a good coworker relationship, or colleagues. Yeah, both are good. I have a few others here. From Ruben, you can meet business people in the restaurants and have good conversations. Yeah, yeah, good. Business lunches are tax deductible, so they are cheaper than eating with friends. Good. Yeah, yeah, that's good. That's a good reason to eat business lunches. I always like business lunches because the company pays for the lunch, and that's always a good thing. All right, so here it says in 2017, Europeans ate 18% of their meals out. Again, this is how we can use a phrasal verb. We have the verb to eat out. They ate 18% of their meals out. The phrasal verb gets separated to put the what information, or how much. And then we say they ate. So that is a total of 335.9 billion euros total in food sales. So, how often do you eat out, and why? And this is before the crisis, of course. I'm not thinking anyone eats out right now, but of course, Europeans are eating a lot more out. So, how often do you eat out? Would you say it's 18%? Is it 30%? 100%? How often do you eat out? Yes. How often do you eat out? What is the percentage? Okay, so Christina's saying twice a week. Okay, twice a week. Good. Twice a week seems like a normal thing. And Ruben says here twice a week and usually at the weekend. Yeah, so at or on the weekend, both can be okay. 15%. Okay. So you're about again maybe around the average for Europeans. So you can say you are the eating as the average European. So again, it's normal, but the thing is why do you eat out a lot? Okay, yeah, that's why I said before the crisis. I have the comment from Zlatina that says now I stay at home. Yeah, well, we're all at home together. We probably miss eating out, but again, you can yeah. So Virginia is saying I eat out in special occasions, celebrations, important dates. Yeah, that's a very good reason to eat out. Yeah, and that's probably well, it depends how many holidays. Your again, holidays can be an important thing to say. Holiday depends how many holidays your country has. So let's continue here with more information. So when we eat out, we have to work on special functional language. So again, when do you usually eat out? We already answered. But here's another question for you. What kinds of restaurants or bars do you like? Yeah. Imagine that I'm visiting your city or town. What kind of place would you recommend me to eat at or to have a drink at? All right. When we say a place, again, a place is a word that I teach a lot for everyday English. A place is any place that you can have something to eat. Again, we use the verb have for food and drink. I like to have, a coffee at this place. Again, you can say that. You can say place for any 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 place that exists. So it can be a bar, it can be a restaurant, it can be a place that you have something to eat. You have lunch. You have dinner. Have is the verb we use. So, since for those of you who are watching right now, or those of you who are logging in right now to tell me, what are your places that you would recommend me to eat at? Yeah. So So let's see. Virginia says, I like to visit the traditional and typical food restaurants of the place. Yeah, okay. Yeah, the place you're visiting, right? Or the place you live in. Um, and I have a comment here from Segundo Ejercicio, which says, crappy bars are good because they offer cheap beer and tapas. Well, I don't know if they're always crappy, though. I mean, crap is that's a verb that it depends on what culture you come from. It could be a verb that's offensive, but where I come from, the United States, it just means it's not good. It's like poor quality bars, right? So again, I would say that depends. I mean, when I go to cheap bars in, for example, in Spain, I found some pretty good food. I don't know. Maybe it's because you're traveling, so you think it's good, but maybe it was really good though. Says here from Pilar, if you come to Barcelona, I remember I can recommend you. Yeah, I could, right? Could recommend you to go to a Venezuelan restaurant called El Ricon de la Abuela Venezuelana. Okay, yeah. If it's grandmother Venezuelan food, then I am there. So that is good. Um, let's see. I have some comments here from Zlatina. I really like restaurants as steakhouses. You can say such as steakhouses, yeah, or like steakhouses. And from Alberto, it says, I'll recommend you a lunch in a local restaurant with nice views. Ah, good. So this is good. This is good language to learn. We talk about the quality of the place, right? The quality of the place is very important. And something that we can realize here is that when we talk about a place, we want to say, okay, why do we like it? What's good about the place? So when we say what's good? It means what is something like that, the quality of the food? What's good maybe about the what the place looks like, the arrangement, the seating, the views, the where is it, the neighborhood, right? So the question is, do you always eat out at the same place? Again, we when we go to a place, usually a place that we like, we call ourselves a regular. A regular. Again, I'm gonna put that, a regular. A regular, right, is someone who regularly, frequently goes to the same place. So, um, do you always eat out at the same place? Do you do you have a place you prefer to go to? Why? Why do you prefer this place? Do you go with family? Do you go with friends? Before the crisis, before the crisis, not now. Yeah. Do you like to try new places? Do you like to go to new places? Okay. So Virginia is saying, no, I prefer to know different ones and compare. Good. Yeah. I think that's a good idea, especially before the crisis. This might change after the crisis is over. But before the crisis, we were living in a time period where more new bars, more new restaurants were opening, right? Opening their doors to the public. So again, we were living in a very exciting time to go out and eat. So it's very hard to do the same place. So I love the suggestions. I absolutely love this hospitality in Spain. People are always so friendly when I visit. It says here, if you come to Almeria, I could suggest you to visit a beach club with a swimming pool and amazing views. Well, I cannot wait for the crisis to end. You could say, yeah. So good. So that's good. They're great. These are good answers. I like them. They're very fun. So again, typically we have to make good use of adjectives and adverbs to describe the places we like. So for example, there's a, I know about a or a. Have you heard about the, right? Again, we're talking about things that we know about, right? We know about these places. And then you can use really nice, fantastic new, right? Great, cool, fantastically hip. Hip is like a way of saying that it's like, I don't know the word in Spanish, but it's like, it's a place where all the cool kids go to, the cool people go to, you know. Um, when we use a word like really nice, really is the adverb, nice being the adjective. So again, they take on this situation, great and cool. They can also become adjectives or adverbs when we're adding a quality to the word, right? And you can use place. We talked about this word place. A place, spot. Spot is a similar way of saying a place. Or you can say bar, restaurant, club, bistro, right? Those are good words. Now, here is where we have to connect the ideas, right? Everybody was saying, I can tell you about a nice place with good views or nice views. But there's different ones we can use here. We can use these words such as just or which, where, with, right? For example, there's a really nice place just over there, just over there, right? We're saying that it's a location in the situation. Or you can say, I know about a fantastic new restaurant which opened last week, right? Which opened last week. Or have you heard about the fantastically hip bar with fresh oysters? Oysters. The I don't know how you say oysters in Spanish, but again, with fantastic seafood, right? So, again, for those of you joining us today, hello, John. Hello, Riska Better Fee, I think that's how you say. We are talking about eating out and also cooking at home today. Eating out, of course, before the crisis. So again, this is a way we can use this. Does anyone want to try using this language? Would you like to write a sentence for me? Again, you can use the vocabulary above. For example, there's a really new or really nice place which see if you can connect these words. You can create a sentence and then you have to complete it with the, you know, why, why should I go to this place if you're recommending it for me? Okay. So, Pilar, on YouTube, I know about a fantastic new place with amazing cocktails. Yeah, perfect. That's a great way to create a sentence that is descriptive. It shows that you know something. You make me want to go there. I don't even know this place, but I want to go now that you told me this. So imagine that you are trying to write about something, like you're trying to write about a bar or a restaurant. You really want people to go to this place. If you just say, I know a place, it's good, good neighborhood, okay, it's fine, but we need more. I want more. I want to know why why we go here, what is this place like? What does this place have? What do they serve? What does it, right? Does anyone else want to give a local recommendation, someplace they're proud of, someplace they enjoy? And again, just saying hi to John, Joseph, and James, three people with the letter J as their first name. And welcome to the lecture today. We're talking about eating out and also cooking at home. So I have a comment here from Ruben saying, have you heard about a new pub? A new pub, remember, or the new pub, it depends. Maybe the new pub on Garden Street. Really nice, and they serve lots of different beers. Great. Okay, I want to go. Have you heard about the best broccoli in the city? It's so green and fresh, and you will find it in my sister's restaurant. Well, I want to go. I really like good broccoli. That's from Segundo Ejercicio. Okay, so good. And I have one more comment here from Alberto. There's a tiny restaurant with awesome seafood. You can just say with seafood, just general, which is located on top of the hill. Good. Yeah, yeah, good. Again, we're talking about what they do, where, and then exactly your opinion, right? You can say you can say your opinion. So this is a really good formula to learn to connect these ideas. Again, we're connecting the pronoun with the adjective adverb with the subject with the qualities, right? It's a long sentence, but if we practice this, we can really improve our descriptions of places and places we like to go to. So it's a really good one. Yeah. Okay. Good. Good answers. Like the answers a lot. So one more thing I want to talk about when we eat out is know your manners. Does anyone know what manners are? What are manners? What are table manners? What are manners when we eat out or eat at someone's house? What is a manner? Hmm. Anyone know what is a manner? Waiting for your comments here, but just going to see if any of them come in. Not yet. Behavior, good, from Vanessa. Thank you. Yeah, behavior is a good synonym for manner, right? It's also, yeah, it's and it means, being polite, being respectful of someone else's culture. And if you look here, it says when we travel or greet visitors in our countries, we always experience cultural clashes. It's not, I mean, again, I say always because it's normal. It's not a bad thing to experience a cultural clash. Yeah. So good. I have a comment from Ruben saying it's a way to act, it's being polite. So, what is a cultural clash? What is a cultural clash? We could call it a cultural conflict. What is that? A cultural conflict? Hmm. Okay. While you think about that, what is a cultural clash? I give a comment from Zlatina that says, I know about a fantastically hip Italian restaurant where you can enjoy a piano concert while you are eating good dishes. Amazing. Amazing. Love it. Love it. Um, anyone know what a cultural clash is? No? Not at all? Well, okay. I'll wait for your comments to come in. Maybe you do know. Okay, so Pilar saying differences between behaviors. Yeah, differences between culture. Really, I mean, it's even more than behavior. You might have a behavior or a manner. What is polite in one country is not polite in another country, right? This is a big problem that can happen. So, again, this is especially true when we eat with others, right? And so, what are some cultural traditions at the table in your country? What are some things you mustn't do? The contraction must not, mustn't do when eating at the table. Can you tell me? Yeah, can you tell me? Are some things that are things that are considered to be polite in your country. What are things that you mustn't do? Things that are considered to be impolite. Again, the opposite is impolite. Okay, so okay, I have some funny comments here coming in. Uh, for example, it says here that well, I think what you mean is the verb for. Okay, from Segunda Ejército is saying extracting mucus is not polite, which is a very interesting image. But I would say maybe maybe eating with your mouth open, right? Spitting, right? Spitting, very, very, very impolite in many countries. It says to burp at the table. Yeah, good. That's very impolite in I would say many countries. Put your arms on the table. Yeah, okay. I know that in some cultures you can put your arms on the table. In the United States, I think it depends where. But yeah, those are a few things. But what are things that? But what are some? Yeah, one more comment here from Virginia. You mustn't put your feet up on the chair in front of you. Yeah, it's pretty bad when you're eating out. What are some cultural traditions you have in your country? What are things that you do? Yeah, making noise eating soup. Yeah, that makes a lot of Europeans go crazy with that. In the United States, it depends. It depends. Um, what are some cultural traditions you have in your country? Any cultural traditions? Things that you have as a tradition. It could be maybe for a holiday, maybe it's something you do. Okay, so everybody's talking about taboo. So things you mustn't do when you're eating at the table is to speak about religion or policy. Well, politics. Yeah, from Slatina. Yeah, yeah. We in my past classes, I talked about something called small talk. You can also call it, business talk, lunch talk, dinner conversation, lunch conversation. It's really something that you want to avoid talking about. You want to talk about things that are, we call them safe topics, safe subjects. So again, things you mustn't do when you're eating at the table is speaking about those things. What about things that you should do? Okay, so Pilar saying here, you talk for a long time after eating. Yes, that's true. The the famous dinners in Iberia, because it's true. I know that in Brazil, we got that tradition from the Portuguese, probably from the Spanish. We have very long, late dinners where people talk for hours. They eat for 30 minutes and they talk for 3 hours. Never ended. When I was a kid, I did not always like those dinners. They were very long. Um, do you have any other traditions? Maybe things that you do that other cultures find strange. Maybe they tell you, It's strange that you do this in your country. We don't do this in my country." Do you have a tradition that you're proud of? A tradition that you do that's unique to your country, that your country does? Hmm. Anyone? Anything else? Something that you do in your country that maybe other countries don't do at the table? Hmm. Okay. I'll wait for your comments. I'll see if your comments come in. I'm looking at all of the chat feeds, so don't worry. I will not forget anyone. I hope I have been you have been really good today answering the questions. So if you want to speak up, now is your opportunity, is your chance. So one last question: what are your experiences of eating out in other countries? What are your experiences of eating out in other countries? Have they been positive experiences? Have you had very strange experiences eating out in other countries or experiences that were very different? And don't worry, during my classes, I'm okay having a little bit of silence. Again, very important to have you think. If you want to talk about your experiences, you can continue. I'm going to continue talking about this, but if you have something you want to say about your experiences traveling to other countries, you can tell me. Hopefully, something positive. Something positive. Um, Cooking at home is what we'll talk about now, but it's going to be a little bit different. Again, just going to ask you a question. So, in many countries, especially countries considered to be advanced economies, people are spending less on food. They are buying less food than before. So, for example, in the USA, United States, people spend only about 11% of their budget on food. In South Korea, people used to spend one third of their budget on food. Again, budget. Budget is your total money for maybe the month. You have a monthly budget, a budget for the month. Um, Now, today, 13% is spent. So, my question for you today, which country spends the most on food today? Do you know which country spends the most on food? So, okay, so I have a few comments here about my last question. So, in Bulgaria, you must drink a toast before the first sip. So, you can like toast, you must toast. Yeah, so very important, I think, in most cultures. In Virginia is saying in other countries like Hungary, well, or Budapest in Hungary, or Poland, they don't put bread on the table. They do like bread, though. um, Alberto says it's not at the table, but when we're having a beer, having a beer. Remember, that's the verb we use for food and drink. And eating some prawns, we throw the prawn head to the floor. It's a bad habit. Okay. So, and you have here another comment that in Japan, we had a bad experience with food because we tasted spicy food and it was horrible. Okay. Well, it's not for everyone. I love spicy food, but it's true. It's not for everyone. So I have the question from Segundo Ejercicio saying it's Nigeria, almost 60% of the budget. Okay, so you probably looked it up. So, but yes, it's true. It is Nigeria. Nigeria spends almost 60% of the budget on of their budget on food. These are average Nigerians living in Nigeria. Cameroon is 45%, Pakistan 41.4%, Ukraine 37.7, Egypt 36.2, and then all of the other countries don't even get to 30. So Russia is below 30, India is below, and if you go all the way to the top, right? Again, the United States has gotten a little bit better. This is old data, so now it is about 11%. But in 2014, it was 6.5% for the United States. Very, very low. Now, this doesn't mean that people spend less money. It just means that they are buying less food because they have money to buy other things. So I want to ask you, how often do you cook at home? What do you usually cook? What do you like to cook more? You know? So again, is cooking better for you than eating out all of the time? How often should we eat out? You can share your favorite recipe in the comments. So, just getting some other comments here. In Spain, says here that we put olive oil in salad. In Great Britain, when I asked for it, they told me, "Why did I want oil?" That's from Laura. Well, I guess maybe you weren't in London, but yeah, it's true. Maybe there is a different idea. You put vinegar or you put something different in the salad. So that's one thing that changes a lot is the type of sauce in every country. Every country loves sauce, but the type of sauce changes in every country. Um, so, um, question here: what do you often cook at home? Would you like to cook more? What's your favorite recipe? Do you have is your favorite recipe a recipe in Spain? Is it a So Pilar saying, I did not cook anything, but now that I am quarantined, I am cooking a lot, especially desserts. Yeah, me too. A lot of cake here at home. Yeah, a lot of pasta, a lot of cake. Okay. Um, Anyone else want to share comments about their favorite recipe or if they cook a lot? Would you like to cook more? Would you like to cook more? Hmm. Yeah. Waiting for your comments here. Just looking here. All right. So Virginia is saying my favorite recipe is the Spanish omelet, tortilla española. Yeah, that's one of my favorite things to cook too. I love cooking tortilla española. It's very good. And I have from Latina sushi. Sushi is your favorite food. Yeah, it's very popular in Europe. Actually, I would say I don't know what is more popular in Europe now, sushi or Döner kebab. So I do not know. It's either kebab or it's sushi. So they're everywhere now. So it says here from Ruben, I usually cook at home uh, 3, 4 times per week. We love to cook pasta and hot meals. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Pasta is very popular. Yeah, exactly. So we have pasta, cake, tortilla española, sushi, kebab. Okay. This is what we call comfort food. In English, we call this comfort food. I'll send this vocabulary to you on both chats. Comfort food. Comfort food, right? Because it makes you feel good. It makes you feel happy. So, what are some other examples of comfort food? Yeah, yeah, paella. So paella is very good. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, paella. What kind of paella? Do you prefer the paella from Valencia or the paella from Catalunya? Which paella? Seafood paella? Meat paella? In the United States, we only know seafood paella. So okay, so cupcakes from Laura. Good. Okay, so we only like comfort food from Valencia. Okay, good. Yeah, there's a what we call rivals in that region. Some people say it was invented in Catalonia. No, it was invented in Valencia. It's a from Alicante. Yeah, very good. Yeah, I want to go to Alicante one day so I can have seafood paella. Um, and Pilar saying hot dogs and fast food. Okay, so we have a lot of comfort food. Yeah, these are all food that makes us feel good, right? Ruben's comment is great, which says my mom does or makes the best paella in the world. Yes, our mom always makes the best food. And yeah, sometimes we like food too because it reminds us of our family, right? So one thing that people are doing now, they are now cooking food that reminds them of their childhood food. So if you go on Instagram or if you go on social media, many chefs are cooking things they used to eat when they were a kid, when they were young. And the funny thing is that it shows that in times of crisis, we look for a more innocent, a better time. So when we were young, we didn't have the crisis, so reminds us of this. So food is very powerful. Food is something that reminds us of great times. It reminds us of family. This is why food is something that's so important to talk about, even though it's a soft topic, a simple topic. To me, it's a very important topic that connects people. And just one more comment here from Amigas saying from Latina saying Migas, it's a typical comfort food from Almeria. And what about junk food? I hate it. And croquetas from Laura. Okay, so a lot of food it's like paella. You wouldn't change the word. You would just say croquetas because if a food comes from someplace, then you would say it in the language that it comes from. So, for example, today I'm going to make a noodle dish from Korea. I don't speak Korean, so I'm learning how to say it, and I'm not going to say it live because I don't want to say it wrong. But the idea is that you don't translate the word; you just say it exactly as it is because that's the name of the dish. That's the name of the food, right? Junk food, though, I think just to talk about that is something that is universal. When you say hot dog, I think it's hot dog in every single country. Everybody says hamburger, hot dog, right? This is junk food. I'm not saying there isn't good hot dogs, good burgers, but again, it's a word that is a universal word. It's a universal junk food. so, so teaching cooking vocabulary is a great way to improve your English. There are lots of words to help you improve your pronunciation, your expression, and it helps practice the passive voice. This is when we describe a process. For example, the cake is baked in the oven for 45 minutes. The cake is baked. Again, we bake the cake, you bake the cake. The cake, the cake doesn't bake. Maybe you could say the cake is baking in the oven, but the cake is baked, right? So in the oven. The peppers are stuffed. Stuffed, it's when you put things inside the pepper and then fried. Okay, so we're using the past form to talk about the passive voice. So we say that, right? We can say the pasta is made with, right? They're using the passive voice. And it's also a good way to practice phonetics. So I'm going to do a little bit of a game with you here where you say a word, right? And I'm going to read the word and you look at the phonetics and you read it with me. So again, these are new verbs. If you don't know these verbs, you can write it down during the class, but we're going to practice the phonetics together. Again, these are great ways to practice English phonetics. So if we say bake, which is to cook into an oven, so we put a cake in the oven, right? Bake, a. A. Do you see that middle sound? It's like a. Say it again for me. A. Okay. It's a little sharper kind of A. Beat. Beat. You notice that it says I. There's an E sound though going E. E. You see how the I goes out. Beat. This is when we beat eggs, cream, butter, cheese to make something for either a cake or for pasta. Blend. Notice that there's that sort of soft round E. Blend. Blend. You hear it? Blend. Okay? When you mix two things together, substances together. So again, it's similar to beat, but you can blend many things. For this one, this is a fun phonetic. Boil, oil, oil, oil. You hear that? It's a strange kind of OI sound. Oi, OY almost. But it's very strange sound. Oil, boil. Again, similar to the word oil. So again, when you heat water in a liquid until bubbles form. But this one, cut. You see how it's a sharp sort of sound. Say it again. Cut. Right? When you separate, divide something with a knife. So you can cut carrots, you can cut onions, right? You can cut meat. And then two more, grill, right? Ill. It's a very sort of ill. You see that it's going up a little bit when you put food in a grill, such as barbecue. And the last one here, roast, oast. It's deeper kind of sound. Say it again. Roast. Roast. Right? When you cook meat or vegetables in the oven or over a fire. So these are some good sort of things to learn with phonetics. Again, very useful verbs to learn. And I'm getting one comment here. Again, we only have a few minutes, but one comment from saying that vegan food is something that well, actually, I do have vegan recipes. My brother is vegan and my sister is gluten intolerant. So I had to learn how to make some nice recipes for the both of them. And again, just closing it here, learning good vocabulary for cooking and eating out will make you not only into a better host, someone that greets others, but a better English speaker all around. Food and drink truly unites us. So in times of crisis, we find solidarity with our cuisine. So next time you cook, try a little game that I like to do when I'm learning a language, like when I'm learning French or when I'm learning Italian right now, or I should improve my Spanish. I'm sorry, I I do speak Portuguese, but I should really do better with my Spanish. Imagine that you're in the kitchen and you're like, how do I right? And you say, what is this called in English, or how do I say? And if you start to say, like, work with it, like, I am cutting the carrots, I am boiling the pasta. You start to see that you can get the verbs, you learn the verbs, and you can use it in the continuous form. You can also, because imagine you're in your kitchen, and maybe do this today or sometime this weekend when you have time. Look in your kitchen and say, how do I say that? If you don't know how to say it, start learning one thing at a time, and also learning the verbs, like little by little. Don't like learn it all, it's too much. But a great way to learn vocabulary is to say, if I can say this in English, then I can find this next word in English. And again, you start to realize. So for example, when you have the verb to mix is a verb I think you all might know. I think it's very similar. Mezclar in Spanish. And if you say mix, right, then what you say mix, you have a machine, it's called a mixer, right? So you have the noun and you have the verb. So again, it's a great game to try, and I really do recommend it if you want to improve your English abilities. So again, just going to wrap this up, close it here. I'm going to tell you that my name is Adriel. I am a teacher on italki.com, a professional instructor, and it is a great website to discover other professional instructors such as myself, or I have my page as well that you can visit. I do offer classes every weekday. Also, there are tutors, there are language partners, there are resources for students on italki. It's a really, really cool website. Really, it was actually the very first place I started learning languages online. So I've been using it since 2013. So it's a great website. And another thing too is remember, when you are learning, remember that there's always time to learn. There's always time in the day. So these live streams are great. The face-to-face classes are great, but you can also do it in your spare time. You can always find a time to read something, or to even be in your kitchen or your room and find the right vocabulary. Again, thank you so much for your comments today. It was really great. I think that it's a good time to talk about things that are, nice and relaxing. And what can be more relaxing and easier to talk about than food? so thank you again. And I want to say now, I'm going to say goodbye for now, and I'm going to tell you that again, I'm going to wish you well during the COVID-19 crisis. I wish you very good health. I wish you very good wishes. I wish you well, wish you and your family well during the crisis. And don't forget to eat well. Don't forget to take good care of yourself. So again, going to sign off today, but I wish you a great rest of your week. Thank you very much.